All right, guys, we are at a Bear Mountain cruise. We have a good number of people here. I'll do a quick walk around of some of the cars here. We probably have, like, I'd say 40 or so, 50 so cars, and it is raining, as you can tell. But thank you for everybody that's coming out that watches this later. So we're here with the owner of the Ioniq 5N, and your name is?
Marcus.
All right, and one question I got for you.
Sure.
How much do you love this car since you got it?
This car is insanely good. It's insanely good. So I'm a car guy, right? I grew up, my father was an auto mechanic. I would, like since I was a kid, we would drive Mercedes, BMWs, Porsches on the Autobahn in Germany.
Wow.
Right? Like full tilt.
Wow, that's an experience.
And my prior car was an Elantra N with a stage 2 N75. Super fucking awesome. Super awesome. Lowered, low to the ground, rock fucking solid, really stiff suspension, super fun car. And I had to go to the dealership for some maintenance. I think I needed a new tire because I blew out a tire. And I saw the Ioniq 5N. I'm like, you gotta let me drive this car.
Wow.
And at the dealership, they go like, well, you gotta sign some paperwork. We're gonna make sure you're good for it, you know, this kind of thing. I'm like, let me sign. I want to drive this car. And so, you know, I filled out the paperwork, whatever, and I drove the car, and I knew that second that I want that car.
Wow.
I told Tony, he's here, he works at the dealership. I said, that is my next car. I went back the next day, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy this car.
Nice.
So this car is amazing. It really is amazing. It's super quick, but not only that, it's like, it's a performance car. It is seriously a performance car, and it does not let you down. There is not a single car in the street that I don't see in the rearview mirror. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievably good.
And honestly, this thing looks amazing in person. Like, I'm gonna show you some clips of it. It is matte, or is it satin?
It's a flat blue.
This
flat
thing
performance
looks good.
This is it, the car right now is bone stock.
Nice.
It's completely stock. So that's how it comes from the dealership.
Okay,
you know?
and for those people who don't know, like, how long does it take to charge? What kind of range do you get?
All right, so this car is full electric, 100% electric. It has 601 horsepower. You have a boost button or overboost button. It gives you 641 horsepower for like 10 seconds. So 10% to 80% if you go to a CCS charger, which is like a DC charger with like 300 some plus kilowatts. The car charges in 18 minutes.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing.
That's a lot faster than I thought.
It's super fast. Downside is you pay, well, on average I've paid, I think, about close to 60 cents per kilowatt. So it's relatively expensive. It's almost as expensive as filling up a gas car.
Okay.
Because my range hovers around like 200 miles.
Okay.
On an 84 kilowatt battery. But since then I've installed a level 2 charger. I work for myself at my workplace because it's more convenient for me. I get there in the morning, I plug in, it's a level 2 charger.
Yeah.
On 220 volt electric, which makes it like 9 kilowatts or something like that.
Wow.
So I get about 20 miles per hour.
Wow.
So meaning I plug in every other day, my commute is covered. If I want to go somewhere a longer drive, I just have to charge a little bit longer. But generally throughout the day, a couple of hours, I'm fully charged. It's perfectly fine.
Nice.
And I have not paid a public charger since. So in the last 2 months, again, I charge like every other day, and I drive normally like every other commuter, right? Maybe 1,000 miles or so a month. My electric bill rose by about $50 per month.
Wow, that's not bad.
It's a
really not bad
super
at all.
savings.
Yeah.
The old Elantra, in comparison, granted with a stage 2 and my driving, made about 12 miles to the gallon, and I would actually need gas on average about 250 to 300 a month.
Yep.
So I pay about a fifth in electric.
Wow.
So it's
that
pretty
ended up
amazing.
working out for you.
It absolutely works.
Okay.
And the car is super fun. It's super fun. It's unbelievable how good this car is.
And if someone was out there and they had a question, or they were on the fence about getting this or an Elantra N, a Kona N, and they saw this and they're a little on the fence about electric, what is one thing that you have to tell them that would help them, that would help sway them?
Well, first off, you're getting a performance car. I had an Elantra N before. I kind of sort of thought it might be my forever car.
Yeah.
It kind of never seems to be the case with cars. It's never a forever car. I was like, yeah, well, electric, microwave, this and that. I drove a Tesla. It's kind of, yeah, they're quick, but it's not as fun. This car is actually super engaging. So Hyundai has done, you know, the suspension is really great. You have the fake shifting, you have fake gears, you have a paddle DCT,
Yeah, the simulator,
simulator. And it actually feels like driving a real car. It's a super engaging experience. It's so well done that, you know, you go on the videos, you see, like, you hear the sounds and, you know, people laugh at it. First I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it actually helps your driving experience. Like when you drive this car on full tilt, you know where you need a shift, you know where to change a gear, you know where to hit the brake. You know, it's a driver's focused. It's a driver's car. It's absolutely a driver's car.
And we're gonna go.
I personally generally always drive in N mode, just because I have, first off, you can adjust everything. You can adjust the suspension, you can adjust the motor, you can adjust your steering. And I just like a stiff car, right? So in my opinion, this is a good balance between comfort and still having a performance relatively stiff car. I do want to lower this car because I feel like it's a little high, and you can feel it. If you go in a turn on full tilt and you have a bump in the street, you feel the body roll.
Oh, okay.
And I think lowering the car, I think that would help me, you know, a great deal. Gravity. Yeah. A great deal to eliminate that, or at least reduce it. Eliminate probably not, because it's a big car, it's a heavy car, right? This thing weighs 4,800 pounds. Wow. So it's relatively heavy. The Elantra is 3,800 pounds. Wow. So now you hear the brakes. Yeah. These are actually the regular, you know, the pads, you hear them. But when you're driving, for the most part, you brake in regen. So meaning your electric motors help the braking, which in turn does probably most of the braking.
All right, so we are POV and passenger.
So it drives like really nice.
Yeah, it actually drives very
you can drive it like a normal civil car, right? You can totally do that, but most of the time. All right, everyone is strapped in back there.
Yeah. Wow. Holy crap.
This thing actually goes. We were at like 58 miles an hour.
Wow.
In like a couple of hundred feet.
That is crazy.
And the wheels don't even, I mean, they spun a little bit.
It didn't feel like it.
And it doesn't feel like it. But,
it just went.
You know, but you can drive it like grandpa. No problem.
Yeah.
You can drive it in eco mode. You can, I've seen people that get probably like 3 miles to the kilowatt. Wow. I hover at around like 2.1. It's like my average. I've had this car now for like 4,200 miles, like 3 months or so.
Wow.
But this thing is wild. And it handles really, really, really well. So, I mean, short of like going in a straight line, you know, this thing corners really well. It brakes really well. It is quite literally, it is a performance car. Hyundai has done such a good job on this car. I am.
It feels like it's very solid.
Absolutely amazed. This thing is solid.
Nice.
It's absolutely solid. So, and all you, I mean, the difference obviously is you have, you know, your neutral and your reverse. It's like on one little stick here.
Yeah, the dial.
And then you can actually drive in your emulated paddle shift in a DCT mode, right? So I can actually turn this to a transmission.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but
it goes louder a little bit when we drive. So now you can actually see I can change the gears, right? So now I'm actually in first
there.
and I actually have to shift. You can downshift like a regular engine, so you get motor braking. What you don't have as much
Oh, it sounds like a real car.
It sounds like a real car. So now I'm shifting. Second, third. And you get all the effects of driving a regular transmission car. It actually motor brakes. It stops when you downshift. It has a pseudo rev limiter at like 8,000 RPM. It goes into like it's honestly, it's really well done.
It kind of sounds like the Elantra a little bit.
Yes, supposedly they emulated an Elantra 4-cylinder engine, right? It sounds a little different. I think it sounds a
slightly
bit more like a
lighter. Yeah,
it almost sounds like a Subaru, honestly.
Yeah,
it's got like
I
that
can hear
boxer.
it.
There's a little bit more
the
bass
uneven
in there.
headers. Yeah,
so it's kind of fun and engaging. By now, I actually prefer to drive in electric mode because the braking is better.
Interesting.
I get the
so it's different
braking,
power and different
braking. So the car is quicker, noticeably quicker, but you have better braking because the regen is engaged. So in full regen mode, if you turn this thing to like N performance, you have all sorts of weird settings in here. You have an N pedal mode. You can actually change. You can change the strength of your braking. You have like 3 different levels. So on level 3, it goes up to like 0.6 G braking.
Wow.
It's actually jarring. When you go full tilt and you let your foot off the gas, the car stops. You might be able to feel this here because it brakes really aggressively. It brakes. You can feel. You got to go full tilt. Then you actually can feel it. But the braking then is super fucking aggressive. It's almost nauseating.
Wow.
It's almost nauseating because you feel that jolt, right? Like really quick stop and go or full tilt on a tight turn or on a track. You know, it makes a huge difference. So normally in the street, this is probably way too. It's almost as if you're stepping full on the brakes.
Wow.
Right. So
I get exactly what you're saying.
It's super hard, super harsh. But all in all, I gotta say it's so well done. And then you have all these other crazy modes in here. So the car is all-wheel drive. You have 400 horsepower in the back, 200 in the front, something like that. But you can change your torque distribution, where they give you all these warnings. Only do this on the track. You can go full tilt to the rear. Now I have 400 horsepower in the back and less in the front. I don't know what the actual distribution is. You can make this thing spin.
Interesting.
You can make this car spin. So I don't want to do this here in the parking lot. I also don't want to shred my tires.
Yeah, I hear you.
So then you have like these drift optimizers. You have different battery modes. And so it's a lot to take in. It took me a while to get used to it, but I drive in N mode, motor full tilt, steering full tilt, suspension full tilt, ESC off. That's how I like to drive. And then you step on it. This car never loses its composure.
Nice.
And the seats are actually really amazing.
Yeah, they are. It feels the same
amazing.
as the N, but slightly wider.
It's the same seat. I think someone told me they're wider. Which
it feels a little wider. Yeah.
I think they're going for a drive, no?
Oh, okay. Let's see where they're going.
I think we're going to figure out what's happening.
Yep. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the drive. This was awesome.
Thank you.